I can get a little cranky when I talk about sports ball, but I'm doing it anyway. The Mariners have finally broken a terrible streak. They won the American League West after a 21-year failure to do so. Okay? They also nailed down, not only did they win the American League West, they got the 2 seed. So they're actually on a bye this week. They get a whole week off to like rest their pitchers' arms and be ready. Look, I know a lot of our audience is not into sports, but especially coming off our last topic, I think it's important in times like these to have a sense of civic cohesion, something civic that can bring us together. And I think that togetherness could heal a whole crap load of the wounds we've suffered in our communities. Okay? Sports, in many times, can transcend race, ethnicity, sexuality, economic status, right? Because poor to rich, everybody, loves it. Okay? When I was a kid, I used to listen on to the radio and watch on my cheap little, remember the old TVs with the bup, 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 okay, in my room, in my apartment when we were broke, right? Like, these things I think can bring communities together in a shared sense of happiness and warmth that I think can be very healing for that. So starting there, Jay, obviously went to a Mariners game a while back. We both enjoy the act of going to sports games and things like that. What's your thoughts on how the Mariners ended the season, and then on the other stuff too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited. Because I believe it was like a couple months ago. A friend of mine came out from Colorado, stayed with us. They are way more into all sports balls in general. Like if there's balls involved, oh no, that sounded bad. Nope, never scratch that. If it's sports, they're interested. Um, so they were kind of just giving out stats of stuff. Anyways, I was telling them about I was reading about this curse of Seattle, the Seattle Mariners, where, you know, I can't remember exactly the verbiage, but it was something like we're the oldest team that hasn't done XYZ in a number of years, whatever. So yeah, we were just talking about this. So it's good that we are, finally, I don't know, doing really, really well. And I believe, wasn't there even a story about some sort of voodoo witch?
Yes, it was an Etsy witch. There was
Yeah,
an
an Etsy
Etsy.
witch.
Somebody paid an Etsy witch to break their losing streak that they were on, and from the time that the Etsy witch cast their spell, they won 13 in a row. And they went 14 of 16 in the next 16 games because of the Etsy witch.
I, you know,
And with the last game I went to with a friend of mine, with a couple other friends of mine, there were people with witch hats on, and they were talking about the Etsy witch. That shit happened.
I I love it. I love I don't know, hearing these little stories of why, I don't know, something happens in sports and it's that's the new tradition, that's what you have to do every season.
I love watching the ones like Cal Raleigh hit his 60th home run, right?
Mm.
This guy caught it and he gave it to a little kid next to him. And the little kid gave the ball back to Cal. And so they set up a meet and greet for this 8-year-old, right? So that he could give the ball, Cal Raleigh's 60th home run ball, back to Cal so he could keep it. Cal gave him signed bats, signed balls. They got to go in the clubhouse, right? I like, and again, this is where I do this. Also, do you think that it can help, help communities kind of come together for a little bit?
Yeah,
Civic pride in something.
I definitely do. And I even saw a thing, I believe it was King 5. I could be wrong, but King 5 was talking about the Mariners doing or wanting to do a survey to get people's opinions on removing like the kind of very churchy people that are yelling into the microphones that are like everyone's going to hell.
Yeah.
And I think that also kind of ties into it because when you go to a Mariners game or any sports event, you know, it's very true. It doesn't matter like where you're coming from, what your religion is, you know, you're just there to watch a game and have fun, socialize, hang out with your friends. Like, I think it does really kind of bridge the divide. And I think this is something that really kind of goes back, dating back way probably back to like the Coliseum days where, yeah, day to day, you might be like, oh, we can't talk to like that person. But then, you know, at a baseball game, everyone's like the same, I don't know, drunken Mariners
Silliness.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still high fiving the person next to you no matter what when Cal Raleigh hits another home run, you know?
Yeah.
Like it is. And it's a fun interaction. And again, I remember when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl and the whole city out there for the parade and just seeing how excited everybody was for this moment in time, right? To see something so cool happen. And as far as those statistics, yes, the Mariners are the oldest team that has never been to a World Series. They've never been to a World Series. They haven't. They were on the longest streak of not winning their division at 21 years. They've now finally broken that. Here's another interesting bit of trivia about this current Mariners team. Their manager, Dan Wilson, was the catcher the last 3 times the Mariners won the AL West in 1995, 1997, and 2001. Dan Wilson, who is currently their manager, right, was the catcher. Their director of hitting strategy at the right now is Edgar Martinez, who was also on those 3 teams. So they're a lot of their coaching staff has some experience with winning the AL West. Somebody in the chat saying a 40-year-old drunk lady flirted with me at a Kraken game once. See, that's a fun story. That's a great story. Okay? This is why sports are fun. Okay? It's a blast. You know, so and as far as Seattle fans being crazy, no. I mean, believe me, if you've been to some other cities, Seattle fans are downright tame compared to some other cities. You're not going to get the snot beaten out of you for wearing an opposing team's jersey in this town. There are sports stadiums in this country where that will happen to you. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, I'm excited for Mariners playoff baseball. We finally know as of today who they're going to be playing next week. They are playing the Detroit Tigers in the American League Divisional Series. The Tigers beat the Guardians 2-1 in the wild card round. And so Saturday, and last I checked, let's check again. Bingo, we finally got our schedule because it was all entirely based on who won between the Red Sox and the Yankees. But we actually have a schedule now. So the Detroit Tigers will play. Yep, there it is. So the Tigers and Mariners will clash at 5:38 Pacific time on Fox Sports 1. Saturday night at T-Mobile Park. So you can watch it on Fox Sports 1, which I think is a free streaming app. Yeah, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. That's what we get. So, are you going to watch playoff baseball? I know you and I had a good time at a baseball game. You enjoy going to games, but I normally don't watch because there's so many Major League Baseball games. There's so many, but it is the playoffs. And so I am more apt to watch now during the playoffs. Leave it on the background, maybe.
I will say like this game specifically on Saturday, my family were huge Tigers fans.
Oh,
Never been to a
really?
Tiger fan myself. Yeah. So it's almost actually, so I think the weekend after this, some of my family is coming into town, and I wish it was like next weekend because I would definitely go to this game and maybe try to like take them or like us all go to this game. But yeah, Tiger fans, I've never been to a Tiger game, but like that's something that they're like, oh, like every, I don't know, every year we would always go to like a Tigers baseball game, blah 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 blah. This weekend really sucks for me. I have a final that I have to do,
Oh,
so
leave
I'm
it on the
I'm not
background.
entirely sure. I'm
Leave it
not
on
sure.
radio, man. Get Rig Riz on the radio while you're
I can
writing
do
your
that.
final. Okay, so to answer somebody's question in the chat, and again, we're not here to make fun of people who don't follow sports ball very often, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. So this is the 2025 postseason bracket. As you can see here, you had the first round, which the Mariners were not required to participate in because we were cool. So Detroit, Cleveland, Red Sox, Yankees. Detroit beat Cleveland in 3, right? Okay. And so now you have this here. Detroit versus Seattle. And then New York Yankees versus the Blue Jays. So let's focus here. This is a 5-game set. 5. So one team, and somebody will, has to win 3. Whoever wins 3 goes to this bracket right here, which is the American League Championship Series, to play the winner of this one. And then the winner of that will go here to this lovely World Series. And then in the National League, similar situation over here. I actually think the Mariners have a pretty reasonable path to get to the World Series, right? The Tigers are okay, but they're not unbeatable, and the Mariners have beat them this season. They played them during the regular season. They're currently, of the 6 games they played against the Tigers, they won 4. Okay? Somebody in the chat is saying, I want to see my Mariners go against my Cubs. Boy, that's tough right there. So for the schedule, I'm going to go back here. Game 1, 2, and 3 are like those have to happen because that's the fastest you can get through them. They can do up to 5. Game 1 is Saturday, October 4th at 5:38. Game 2, this is my PSA for all my Seattle peeps. Don't go anywhere near downtown on Sunday. There is a Seahawks game and a Mariners game directly after it. And there's a Sounders game in town this weekend too. I think on Friday. I would just avoid that if you don't have to be down there. If I was rich, I would totally go to a Seahawks game first and then go to the Mariners game for the playoffs. That'd be great. I'm not rich. Jay, do you have $1 million?
No.
Sunday, they will play the Tigers at home at 5:03, and then they go on the road for 2 games. And then if a game 5 is necessary, they come back to Seattle on Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, they get Monday off. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, they get Thursday off, and then they play Friday. And that's again if a game 5 is necessary. The fastest this could be over is Tuesday. And then you go to the next line in the bracket. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Mariners. They're my team. I grew up here. All right. Definitely sports bar fodder for me. Yeah, don't even get on I-5. Ichiro was actually out at their scrimmage this week practicing with the team. Okay.
Oh, wow.
He came because they were doing scrimmages this week to practice, and they actually gave fans tickets. They let 5,000 people into Safeco or into T-Mobile Park to watch the Mariners practice and prep for the playoff games. But yeah, Ichiro was out there in full uniform, out there practicing with the team, just to help out. So there you go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. How many games to the World Series? The fastest they could get there is 7 games. 3 in the ALDS and 4 in the ALCS, which is a 7-game set. So the fastest they could get it is if they sweep the Tigers and they sweep either the Blue Jays or the Yankees. I personally think I'd rather see them play the Yankees for 2 reasons. One, I think the Yankees are the weaker team, and I hate the Yankees. and I would love to see the Mariners beat the crap out of the Yankees to make it to the World Series. Because fuck the Yankees. Anyway, that's our sports ball talk for today. That will probably be the last sports topic we do for like 2 months, unless they win the World Series. The end.